Hey ChatGPT, can you give me a EURUSD 1 hour time frame strategy that not everyone knows about? Here is a solid, lesser known EURUSD strategy you can replicate in Strategy Quant. It's a Keltner channel breakout with an ADX trend strength filter. Hi traders, in this video we are going to build this strategy right here, brought to you by my friend ChatGPT. This strategy uses two main indicators, the Keltner channel, and if you're not familiar with the Keltner channel, this is what it looks like. There are three lines. The top line is called the upper band, the bottom line is called the lower band, and that's what we're going to be using today. And the next indicator is the ADX. So the ADX doesn't get drawn on the main chart where your price movement is. It is a separate indicator, usually at the bottom of your chart, which I have here just on the default settings. I've also drawn a line which is at the 25 mark, which typically means above 25. Where, see this line up here, the main line, if the main line is above the 25 mark, it means the market is trending, and at the bottom, when it is below the 25 market, it means the market is not trending. And there's two other lines on this chart. I've got them as dotted. So there's the minus DI, which means the negative direction, and there's the positive DI, which means the positive direction. Generally speaking, when the positive DI is above the negative DI, it means the trend is going up, and when the negative DI is above the positive DI, then the trend is going down. And this is the strategy that my friend ChatGPT has come up with. Be nice to the robots just in case they take over the world in the future. For our long entry, we want the close to cross above the upper Keltner band, and we want it to be in a trend. So that's why the ADX is above 25, and you want the positive directional index to be above the negative directional index. For our long exit, we will stop trading if the ADX says it's no longer in a trend, which is below 25, and the close is below the upper band. And we'll also have a stop loss of 1.5 times the ATR. For our short entry and exit, we want symmetry in our strategy. That's why we're going to have the opposite rules as per the long trade. So the close crosses below the lower Keltner band. Our ADX is still going to be above 25 because we still want to be a trend, but this time we're looking for a downtrend. And the negative directional index is going to be above the positive directional index. For our short exit, when the trend stops, which is when the ADX is below 25, we want to get out of our trade, or when the close is above the lower Keltner band, and a stop loss of 1.5 times the ATR. By the way, if you're a trader and you're looking for a really good broker with great trading conditions, then you might want to check out IC Markets. I've been trading with IC Markets for many years, and this is the broker I'm choosing to trade for both my live account and for my strategy pool. And here is my strategy pool, which has been going for 93 days. This is my test account, even though it is a live account, because I am trading everything on 0.01 lots. But I did make a mistake a couple of weeks ago. So I accidentally put one of my test expert advisors on 0.1 lots, and two trades were executed, which is why you see this huge, sharp, volatile move. After I realized I made the mistake, I changed it back again to 0.01 lots. Even though I've made that huge 10-time lot mistake, you can see the account has recovered and it is still doing well. This account started off at $1,000 and is currently up $65.53. Now, understand this is not a true diversified portfolio. This is just a mishmash of different expert advisors that I am testing out, which is why you see a whole bunch of different currency pairs. And this is my IC Markets MetaTrader 5 platform. I took a snapshot of it before, so the numbers will stop moving, so you can take a look at the spreads. I've got here, I'm trading USD Japanese yen, the Aussie US, and you can see all the spreads in the market watch are pretty low. On the right hand side, all these boxes that you see are individual expert advisors. I've got about 30 or 50 expert advisors. I have no idea, because this is my test account. I'm not too fussed about the number of expert advisors that I run on them. Once it's been running for a little while, I'm going to grab the best ones and then put them on my live account. And here are all the trades on this account so far. You can see I put in $1,000 on the 3rd of June 2025. And if I scroll down, so you can see all the trades, all the different currency pairs that I am currently trading on this account. And if you pay attention to the volume column, you can see everything is at 0.01 until I make two huge mistakes. Here I made a loss because I was trading the wrong lot size of 0.1, which lost $53. And the other one was again 0.1, again on gold, which lost $43. But despite all that, the trading conditions in IC markets have been pretty good, making a total profit of $65 on this small test account. I will post a link below to IC Markets if you want to check them out. Thanks IC Markets for sponsoring this video. I've got here strategy Quant X on the left hand side. I'm going to choose Algo Wizard and select new strategy. Let's call this Keltner Full Editor, and we're going to create a basic strategy template. Today we will be using all 4 blocks that come with the default template: the long entry, short entry, long exit, and short exit. So let's go ahead and create our first condition. And here we want to do crosses because we want the close to cross above the Keltner channel. So I'm looking for crossover. So crosses above, and the close is going to cross above the Keltner, and we want to use the upper band and with the default settings. So the close crosses above the Keltner channel using the default settings, and we're using the upper band. Next, we want the ADX indicator, and we want this to be above 25. So change the number to 25. Next, we are going to use the ADX indicator again, but now we want to use the directional indexes. So again, select ADX, and instead of main, we're going to use plus DI, and we want that to be above the ADX, and we're going to use now the negative DI. Let's repeat all this for our short entry, so we can duplicate this and drag it down to the short entry. And now we're just going to look anywhere that we say above. So now this is going to be crosses below. And the Keltner channel, instead of upper, we're going to switch to lower. And for the third logic, we just have to change greater to less than. And that's all for our long entry and short entry. For our exits, we can save a bit of time by duplicating this block and dragging it below. And now we just have to change the greater to be less than. And then add the close is below the Keltner channel. And yes, we want to keep it as upper. So the ADX is less than 25 and the close is below the upper Keltner channel. Repeat this again for the short exit. And instead of upper, we're going to use lower. Instead of less than, we're going to use greater than. We are almost done. The next thing to do is just to turn on the stop loss. And for this scenario, I'm going to turn on the trailing stop and the trailing activation level. And they are all going to be based on the ATR of 14, which is generally the default value that ATR comes with. For the stop loss, it's going to be 1.5, trailing stop is 1, and activation is 1.5. What this means is our initial stop loss is going to be 1.5, and then when we go into profits of 1.5, which is 1R, then we are going to activate a small trailing stop of 1 times the ATR. So we are locking in profits as price continues to go in our favor in a strong trending environment. For the short entry, we're going to do exactly the same stop loss, trailing stop, and activation, all based on the ATR of 14, 1.5, 1, and 1.5. And that is all the logic. I'll quickly go through all the different windows, short entry, long entry, and the trading signals. The settings shown so far are just the default settings, which might not be the best settings for the EURUSD 1 hour time frame, which I asked ChatGPT here to build this strategy for me. So we're going to use optimization to find the best settings. I'm going to optimize 3 simple parameters. The counter channel, the period, I'm going to optimize that. ADX 14, let's optimize that. And the stop loss of 1.5 times the ATR. So just 3 simple parameters we're going to optimize. And because markets are changing all the time, I'm not going to optimize over 20 years of data and just pick the one setting. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to optimize over a few years and then find the setting that works the best and pick those settings, and then repeat that process again, optimize, find the best settings, and then trade using those settings. So every single year for my trading strategy, we could be using totally different numbers every single year. Let's apply walk forward optimization to our EURUSD 1 hour testing and see what we come up with. This is horrible. EURUSD 1 hour chart. Come on, ChatGPT, what were you thinking? This is like the worst strategy I have ever seen. Okay, let's take a step back. So this is a breakout strategy, and the EURUSD is not the best currency when it comes to breakout trend following. So let's think about what currencies are actually good for breakout and trend following, which is typically gold or the Japanese yen pair. So let's, instead of throwing away this strategy, see what happens when we retest it on gold. Now we're talking. Look at that gold 1 hour time frame. It looks amazing. It's going up year after year. It's not the perfect equity chart, but it is okay considering ChatGPT came up with it. Since this is a trend following strategy, let's take a look at the stats and make sure it exhibits the same behavior that we expect, like low winning percentage. Yes, that's true. Most trend following strategies have a low winning percentage in the 20-30% mark. The average loss here at $59 is small, whereas the average win is much bigger. Yes, and usually you have a lot of consecutive losses. Here we've got a maximum consecutive loss of 13. So all these stats here confirm that this exhibits the same behavior of a standard trend following strategy. If, for example, you had a trend following strategy that had a really high winning percentage and the numbers between the average loss and average win were reversed, that means it probably is a mean reversion strategy, not a trend following strategy. This has not been the best gold trading strategy that I've shown on my channel. Thanks, ChatGPT. If you want to see an equity chart that is much smoother, also trading on gold, then watch this video right here. Thanks. Bye.